One of the reasons Doctor Who is such an amazing show is its amazing lore. With a huge cast of villains and a huge cast of allies, it's very easy to miss a few people. Especially with the show catering to both new and old fans by regularly refreshing the show so that you can jump in at a later point. But that does mean that when we have various cameos or various returning villains, that we lose a lot of the lore. So I thought I would do a bit of a series going through some of the returning characters and the impact that they have had on the show before their new series impact in order to help newer fans understand the significance of these appearances. It should be notable that I will mostly be going through classic Doctor Who from the TV series, not any of the expanded universe. The Master is easily one of the most iconic villains of Doctor Who. The only ones that could beat him are the Daleks and the Cybermen. No one else even comes close. So today we're going to be looking at the lore of the Master. The Master can be a little bit tricky because a lot of the information we get is second hand, and the Master tends to lie a lot. So a lot of his backstory, such as if he has a daughter or not, is debatable. So with that in mind, let's get started. Whereas most of the Doctor's recurring villains tended to have an advantage or a disadvantage over the Doctor, the Master was created to be the Moriarty to the Doctor's Sherlock, the equal and opposite. As such, they're actually given very similar backstories, including a similar sort of privileged life and equal achievements at the Academy. They were even both taught by the same person, Barusa. As a result of all of these factors, the Doctor and the Master became friends at a very early age.
She was my first friend, always so brilliant, from the first day at the Academy. So fast, so funny. She was my man crush.
The Master and the Doctor often played together, including on the Master's estate and quite often sneaking out of the Citadel to go drinking. If we had extended canon, there is also even a story of how the Doctor killed to protect the Master. It is also very notable that the untempered schism and the drums were non-existent in Classic Who, so the Master wasn't actually affected by the drums until Derek Jacobigiana. The Master left Gallifrey on the same day as the Doctor, claiming the same reasons that the Doctor claimed, that Gallifrey was boring and that he needed adventure, as well as a disagreement of the non-interference law, although in a drastically different way to how the Doctor saw it. During the first and second Doctor era, he was just doing his own thing, including starting several wars, and became wanted and trapped by the Time Lords. He headed to Earth about the same time as the third Doctor's exile to Earth began. The Time Lords warned the Doctor of his presence, and the Master began trying to take over the Earth. He initially used the Autons and tried to use them to take over the Earth. During this encounter, the Doctor managed to steal the Master's dematerialization circuit from his TARDIS and prevented him from using the TARDIS. During this exile, the Master managed to show his resourcefulness, using current situations like tensions between countries to his advantages. He manages to regain control of his TARDIS, but by that point the game was truly afoot, and the Master kept coming back to try and defeat the Doctor, allying himself with other villains such as Silurians and Daleks. The Master eventually got imprisoned by a unit, but even when in prison he was still able to mastermind plans and escape with relative ease thanks to his resourcefulness and hypnoticness. After a while, largely due to the Doctor's exile ending and Roger Delgado's unfortunate death, the Master lost interest in Earth, although it would still be a recurring target due to the Doctor's remaining love of the planet. His motives for conquest and chaos fell apart, however, when he regenerated into Peter Pratt, the Damaged Master. This body was not only the final body he could have, but also very disfigured. At this point his motives switched to seeking a new body and gaining immortality. After being stopped by the Doctor a couple of times from obtaining a permanent solution, he instead reveals the power to steal bodies and takes the body of a man called Tremas in order to prolong his life. This action actually led to one of the Doctor's companions joining him, as Tremas's daughter, Nyssa, was searching for her father when she found the Doctor again. In the story where they meet again, the Master also has a plot which results in the destruction of several planets, including Traken, which was Nyssa's home planet. Nyssa then stays with the Doctor. In the same story, he also succeeds where many other villains have failed, and became one of only 2 recurring villains to be directly responsible for a regeneration, the other being the Rani. From that point on, his motives became more about gaining immortality and more regenerations, cause he was still on his last body. And his plans began to backfire a lot more as well. It became a tradition that the Master would end a story in an inescapable situation, only to appear and not explain how he escaped in a similar fashion to how Missy did in The Witch's Familiar.
I just had a very clever idea.
He remained like this for the remainder of the classic series. However, in the TV movie, he ended up getting executed by the Daleks and took yet another form in the form of stealing the body of a human called Bruce. In the movie, the Master was still trying to obtain more regenerations, this time by taking the Doctor's remaining regenerations. Ultimately though, the Master's plan and body were both short-lived, as by the end of the film the Master ended up falling into the Eye of Harmony, the TARDIS's power source, and dying seemingly forever. Until of course the new series, in which they revealed that the Time Lords had resurrected him to fight in the Time War. The Master is quite unique in the fact that most of the time his plans and motives don't include killing the Doctor. In fact, on many occasions he stated that he doesn't want to kill the Doctor. No, his desires are much deeper. He wants to beat the Doctor, to humiliate and be proven superior to him. That's why Earth's such a big target and why his plans are so interchangeable, because the vague goal can be achieved in so many ways. Compared to most of the Doctor's enemies who have a straightforward plan like exterminate everything, he was a massive change in his time, and still is to this day. As it's the same character, so much of his New Who appearances are reminiscent of the Master, and the amount of throwbacks he pulls is huge, and yet manages to remain natural. From his love of children's program to him using strange wordings.
Peoples of the Earth! Please attend carefully.
Even as recent as the latest episode, we've got the Master using disguises like he used to in the classic series. There are so many subtle nods and so many ways that we can see the past of this character in Modern Who. I genuinely can't tell you the impact the classic Master had on the new Master, because it is infinite. They are the same character and you can see it through and through. The Master's affected New Who in so many ways, not just by being the Master, not just by being a recurring character in New Who, but also by being the first one to really have this philosophical rivalry with the Doctor, the one that will reflect in big characters like Davros, for example. And it's no surprise that he is one of the fan favourite villains. As a matter of fact, if anyone is ever curious about starting Classic Who, I'll usually suggest Series 8 of Classic Who as a place to start, because it is where the Master is the primary protagonist yet still shows a huge range of monsters and themes. Of course, if you'd like to see more about the Master, I will be leaving a link in the description as usual, including all of his appearances. There are a lot with this one now. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.
The Garneto is the best. You will like, comment, and subscribe.